Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back again. It's been a hot minute. Today, as you can tell by the title, it's a bit of a deep one. I'm gonna try and fling it out there as quick as I can because I feel like this is something I need to talk about. It's part of my life, it's part of me, my story, my journey, who I am. Is kind of because I didn't have parents growing up. Obviously you can tell by the title, but that's what I'm talking about today. Growing up without parents. I'm going to talk about how it was when I was younger, how it was when I was older, and how it is now, my relationship with my parents now. And yeah, as always, I'm not going to talk too much because this video is probably going to be kind of long and I don't want to be going on too much. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'd say my relationship with my parents when I was younger it felt non-existent, I can't lie. I always knew I had a mum because my nan on my mum's side raised me, and she always took us to see my mum. Oh, by the way, I haven't even mentioned this. Some people don't know. Basically, my mum is diagnosed schizophrenic, psychosis. So she has been institutionalized. No, she was institutionalized. I hope I'm saying it right. Since the age of 16 or 17, something like that. So when I was growing up, she was there. She went from high security to medium to low to up to. It fluctuated. So my nan would always take me and my brother to see her. So we knew she was, but she didn't feel like our mum because my nan obviously raised us. Obviously, I'm too young to understand that at the time. So I guess my relationship with my mum when I was younger was kind of like, I just go and see this lady who my nan says is my mum. We'll sit with her for an hour or two. I don't really have much memory of it. I just remember a couple of bad things, really. It's always the bad things that stick out in your memory, innit? So I just remember one time she slapped my brother. Don't know why I'm laughing. She slapped my brother in the face when I think we was young. I can't remember, maybe like 5 or something. I don't even know, could have been older. And she stopped. The hospital stopped her from seeing us for a while because of that. If she would talk to us rude on the phone, they would cut communication instantly. We would write her letters a lot. I actually found a letter that I wrote to her a while ago. It was so cute. So yeah, that's kind of how we communicated, through letters, phone calls, seeing each other every week or 2 weeks. I think it was every 2 weeks my nan tried, because she ended up being in Northamptonshire at one point, which is so far away. So yeah, I don't really feel like she had an impact on my childhood because she just wasn't there. Obviously that's not her fault, but that's just how I felt at the time, you know. I find it so hard to remember my childhood. I don't remember a lot of it. I think partly the reason for that is because I'd done my research when I was diagnosed PTSD. I'd done my research on dissociative amnesia, which basically means that your brain blocks out certain parts of your memory from your past to protect you. And it doesn't realize that it's not protection, because I want to remember, but your brain still feels like you're in danger, so it just blocks that out, which I've had for a long time. There's a lot of things I don't remember. My memory was bad anyway, but I think that makes it worse. As far as my donor, because that's what we're going to call him, he also non-existent. I don't think my donor side of the family knew we existed until we was 5, so we didn't meet them until then. I don't remember if we met him before that, but yeah, I didn't know who he was but I don't remember any memory of seeing him except one time, and I don't even remember how old I was, but I just remember him coming through, knocking on my nan's door, giving us like some presents, saying a little hi or whatever, and then that was it. And then he left. I remember when my granddad on his side died, because this was, I think we was about 9 or 10, I'd say, he died. And we was cool with him at this point, because, you know, at 5 is when we met that side of the family, and we would see them, but not him. So he passed away, went to his funeral, and I actually saw my donor there at the funeral, and he looked a fucking hot mess, man. He looked nasty. I was like, Nan, who's that man? And she's like, that's your dad. And I'm like, no, the fuck he ain't. No, it ain't. So, yeah, and that was kind of scary for me at the time. I was kind of scared of him because he looked like dirty, like was scruffy. How you come to your own dad's funeral looking like you're fucking homeless? You just walked out of a fucking bin. I was very confused and scared. So, yeah, I didn't have a relationship with him either. So I don't remember that, to be honest with you. Same with my brother. Me and my brother, it's kind of the same, because obviously we grew up together. Me and my brother are twins, so yeah, kind of, I guess, had the same experiences in that sense. So yeah, and I think, so as I got older, I'm talking going into teens now, I definitely remember my donor a lot more. Not for good reasons as well. Like, he wasn't the nicest person. He was angry a lot. He always lost his temper. He lost his temper with my brother a few times because my brother was like acting up in primary school. I was good then. I didn't have no problems. I was such a little scaredy cat. So he was the bad one, and I remember my dad was trying to discipline him a couple of times. I remember one time he grabbed my brother and he like threw him on the bed, like had him by his neck, I think, like I'm sure it's his neck or like his shoulders, and he was like pinned him down on my grandma's bed, my yaya's bed. On yaya means grandma in Greek. On her bed. And I just thought to myself, who the fuck is this man, and why does he feel the need to put his hands on my brother for no reason? Like, obviously, if you're acting up in school or you have an attitude problem as a kid, you need to ask your child why. Like, obviously, it's not even his place to ask why, because where the fuck have you been? You just pop up when you want, and then you think you can play dad. You've lost your fucking mind. So, yeah, he tried to do that a lot with my brother. And that wasn't nice to see. It wasn't fair for him. But obviously at the time I was very non-confrontational, and I didn't want to upset him even more because I was kind of confused, I guess. I was in a state of like shock. Even though, to be honest, it doesn't seem that bad, like pinning him on the bed. But it's like, bro, someone that's not in your life shouldn't be even touching you. Like, claiming that they're your dad, and then that this is the only memory that you're giving me, just abuse. No. There was a lot of that as well. Like, it just didn't feel, I couldn't connect with him at all. Like, he was very narcissistic, and he was egotistical. Like, his ego was big. He was a prideful guy. Like, he didn't want to admit his wrongs. He would deny, try to deflect, get super defensive, obviously anger issues. Like, he was very, like, 1 minute he's good, next minute he's like angry at nothing, and it's like I didn't like his energy. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to be around it, so I would just avoid him a lot. But at the same time, it was like I was curious. Yeah, I think at that age, I think we was about, what's primary school age? Whatever primary school age is, that's when we was going into teenage years. That's when I changed. That's when I started to get angry at life, at everything, at everyone, and I was very rebellious. I was very rude. I was angry all the time. Like, I was not a nice girl, can't lie. I was kicked out of school. I was mean. Like, I was having arguments with my nan all the time, fights with my nan, fights with my brother. I was bullying my brother, basically. Like, I was crazy. So that time I stopped giving a fuck about the donor, and he let him know he wasn't going to intimidate me. That shit you pulled with my brother, try that with me. So, and I feel like he knew that, do you know what I mean? So he never tried to put his hands on me. But we definitely had a lot of words, and I definitely wasn't afraid to like tell him like, yo, like, you the fuck you think you are? You think you can come into my life and tell me what to do? You think you can do anything? If you want to be part of my life, you got to show me why. I'm not just gonna, oh my gosh, you're my dad, so I'm gonna, like, that's not how it works. I remember my yaya on his side, she said, like, she made a comment saying like, you have to respect him because, you know, he's your dad and stuff. And I'm like, if you don't get the fuck away from me with that, because ain't no way. No. Not the energy he gave off. Like, he didn't have a welcoming spirit. He didn't seem like he was coming to want to be a dad for the right reasons. Like, it just seemed very showy. Like, there was one time when I was a teenager, and I would give him a chance to prove himself. And one time I remember it was the anniversary of my friend's death, and I told him, I said, later on today I need to go to the grave because I want to see him. And he was like, yeah, cool, that's fine, I'll drop you there. So, you know, in the car and stuff. Next thing you know, he's driving like out, and I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, don't worry, you'll see, it's a surprise. I'm like, cool. I'm seeing motorways and shit. Like, bro, we end up driving all the way to Devon. What? So he drove all the way out there to take me to some random man's house with a fucking family and dogs and shit. I don't know, because he knows that I like dogs, innit? So he probably was trying to do like, I don't know. But he went there. We got there now, come out the car, talking about this is my daughter, trying to show me off like I'm some kind of fucking trophy, like I'm some prize. I'm thinking, bro, why the fuck am I here? Who are these people? What are you doing? This is not, sorry, these fucking flies, yeah, it's from the plants. Anyway, like, you're just trying to like show me off. Like, that's not how you build like a relationship with your daughter. If you want to build a relationship with your daughter, go and do some one-on-one shit, like, you know, get to know me. You don't even know me, but you still want to play dad. Why are you introducing these people as you, like, I'm your daughter? Like, why are you introducing me like that? Because I don't class you as a dad or a father or anything of the sort. You're just a person that I know that happens to give me life. That's how I see it. So he did shit like that quite a lot, and a few times, and it pissed me off. And I had to tell him, like, yo, like, don't take me nowhere without telling me where I'm going ever again, because you made me miss going to the grave to see my friend because you wanted to take me out and show me off, like, for no reason. I didn't even enjoy myself. He would even take me to the fucking ends. Like, he would take me to Church Road with these fucking grown ass men doing up fucking drugs in the yard. Not like heavy drugs, but like, you know, smoking weed and shit, like rapping and that. If I tell you what this man, it's so cringy to even think about it. He was just a mess, man. Like, you're 40-something years old trying to be a fucking rapper. Showing me your fucking music like I give a flying fuck. I don't care. You can't rap. You look like shit. No one's gonna take you serious. You're a white man trying to act like he's from fucking Jamaica. That's another thing. He used to do things like that would annoy me. Like, just doing too much. Be your fucking self. That's not who you are. I'm so sorry. That's not who you are. You're literally an English Cypriot man. Bald-headed bastard. Just strange, man. So, yeah. My relationship with him was very, very, very rocky. Very volatile. We had lots of arguments. Lots of heated arguments. There was one time we had a blow up because my brother wanted wanted him. He didn't even want me to go. He wanted him to go with him to this football thing because my brother's a referee and he does football. And he took me there, and then the donor ended up coming, and he just started acting a fool. And I'm like, I hate the people that expect you to just behave a certain way just because of who they are. Like, just because, I don't know, you think you've had one nice day with me or 2 nice days or a week. I'm not that type of person. Like, it takes me a while to build connections with people. I can't just because you say you're my dad, it means I'm going to treat you like my dad. No, just because you say you're my friend doesn't mean I'm going to treat you like my friend. Just because you say, you know, you like me doesn't mean I'm going to fall head over heels. Like, that's not how I work. And he couldn't get his head around that. It's like he wanted this automatic respect. And you're not a nice person. I'm not being funny. You'd always go out and embarrass me. Like, you'd start shouting at random strangers, like causing fights and stuff. You even tried to cause a fight outside my house. Like, yeah, so one time we got into a heated argument and I ended up dashing a bottle at his head. Because I was so angry, because he was calling me names. Like, he was calling his own daughter a tramp, a hoe, I can't remember, all these, like, calling me crazy names. I'm like, who the fuck is this man talking to me? Me? You don't even know me and you're calling me a hoe? Nah. And I had a bottle of cider, like, you know, Koppenberg. Now, how that bottle was heavy, right? So I remember taking it and just dashed it at him. I just picked it up and I dashed it at him. And then he had a cup in his hand and he tried to dash the drink on me. Like, obviously, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but I was just fucking angry because who the fuck are you talking to like that? Or because you can't get your own way as well, childish. Like, you act like a fucking immature man. You act like you're fucking 16 and you're big 40. So I didn't respect him at all. So yeah, we did get into fights and stuff and arguments and that. And I would cuss him out and tell him about his fucking family. I didn't give a shit. I really did not care. Because as much as, you know, I had a semi-relationship with his side of the family, I still didn't rate them. They didn't rate me. Obviously, I was a rebellious child. So, like, I used to talk shit. I was disrespectful. They didn't like that. But at the same time, I didn't respect them enough to even care. So we had a rocky relationship anyway. And yeah, it's just, I don't mess with them anymore, because it's like, I just feel like they judged me a lot on things instead of really trying to get to know me. And I'm a stubborn girl, so it's like, once I see that you're not making that effort, I'm gonna just fall back and do my thing. Like, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? I'm very good. So yeah, that was what it was like with my donor when I was a teenager. With my mum, again, it was actually quite good. Like, it was actually really good. I would see her a lot. I would talk to her a lot on the phone, because I couldn't go and see her until I was 16. Like, in person. I couldn't, alone. I think it was 16 or 18. I think it was 16. I don't know. But I didn't want to go on my own, because again, it doesn't matter who you are. I need to, like, build up to that point where I'm going to see on my own, because my mum's illness causes her to behave in certain types of ways that makes me feel uncomfortable, especially as a young girl. She would have no filter. Like, she would just talk about sex, you know. She would talk about my sperm donor a lot, saying, like, things like she want to cut his thingies off, because, you know, like, she would talk about the devil a lot. She would say crazy things, like she would want to get she want to get skulls tattooed on her breasts and shit, like stuff you don't say to your daughter, in it. Like, that's kind of what she was like, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I loved her. I mean, I love her, and, you know, I like her, and, you know, I know that it's because she's ill. So it's like, it's not like I had this, it's not like I was hostile towards her. I wasn't. It's not like with him. With her, I was trying to be very soft and chill, and, you know, but I needed my nan there with me. So I wouldn't go and see her alone for a long time. But we was fine, you know. She would always give money to my nan for us. She would buy us gifts all the time, always sending letters, always sending cards. I remember that a lot in my teenage years, like talking to her a lot on the phone, writing letters to her, all that stuff. So that was nice. So no, nothing really bad. Like we did have a couple sometimes, like we'd have a couple situations on the phone where she might get a bit irritated. But most of the time she was really nice, and it's like she didn't want to upset me because she thought that I would leave. Do you know what I mean? So it's like she wouldn't bring certain things up. Like when I was going through stuff with my nan, she would kind of tiptoe around like and ask like, oh, how come, what's going on with you and nan? How come you're not getting along and stuff like that? But she wouldn't get on to me, which is good because it's like that's how you're meant to be. If you're not someone who's been in my life constantly and you're supposed to be my parent, you can't just come in and just start dictating. You can't just come and start trying to do up parent because you're actually not a parent no matter what. So I did respect her a lot that she would like not do that. But like I said, her illness is a very big part of the reason why our relationship is not as close as I want it to be, because it's very difficult to deal with someone with schizophrenia and psychosis because they have a lot of delusions, that their perspective on reality is shifted and they just don't think like how other people, you know, everyday people in society think. So that's caused a strain on our relationship now. But back then, I was obviously young, didn't really understand it. I just wanted her around, you know, just wanted to see her and stuff. She also looked visibly ill as well. Like if you see her, you'll know that she's mentally ill. Which sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I would feel like embarrassed because it was like she wouldn't take care of her appearance. She wouldn't care about what the hell she puts on her body, like her clothes. She'd wear clothes that are like really, really small or really, really big or have holes or stink, or like her hair would be a mess and like matted, and she was missing a lot of teeth because she would eat lots of stuff, and like she'd chain smoke heavy, so she didn't have any teeth. Like she only had like a few here. So it was like I was kind of like, again, uncomfortable around her sometimes without wanting to be. It was just that, you know. But I did try my best, and I still try my best. But yeah, like I said, our relationship during that time was good, I think. As of now, my relationship with my sperm donor is non-existent. He doesn't exist to me. He's dead to me. He's done something unforgivable in my eyes. I'm not going to disclose it because it's not my business to say, but it's something that he's done to a family member, and I just don't ever want to see his face again. I don't know. I've come a long way in my life where it's like you can't trigger me as much anymore, but there's something about that man that I don't know. If I see him, I don't know what is going to happen. Obviously, I'm going to try my hardest to control myself, but it's like what he's done, I can't deal with him. So he's been permanently cut off. And I know people say that a lot, but I really mean it. Like, I've always been good at getting rid of people, and he's someone that doesn't deserve me, he doesn't deserve my brother, he doesn't deserve my mom, he doesn't deserve anyone. Do you know what I mean? He was a predator. He was abusive. He was, is a coward. He is embarrassing. He just makes me sick to my stomach, and that's just me being truthful. Like, I don't want him around me. He will never change his ways. He will never take full accountability for what he's done, and what, you know, he's delusional. He lives in the fantasy world to think that he somehow has been around in my life and has been present. No, you haven't. You've been in and out fucking jail for most of my life. You know, like, that's the realness of it. So, yeah, non-existent. No coming back from that. I don't care what anyone says to me. Like, I don't want to hear it. It's not going to happen. My relationship with my mum, is challenging, because it's difficult, because it's like, I'm older now, I'm an adult, like I'm grown, I'm not a child anymore, I'm not a teenager, I'm not a kid, I'm literally grown. So it's like, I see things a lot clearer now, and I also want to live my life, and obviously because of certain traumas and stuff that I've been through in my life, like I said, I find it very difficult to just build quick, instant connections with people. I always like to take my time. And I also spend a lot of time alone. And that's where my peace is, that's what my comfort is. And it's hard because sometimes she will like want to do things with me, which I do want to do with her. It's not that I don't. It's just that when I get around her sometimes, it's hard to be normal, if I'm being honest, because like she doesn't do things that she does things you're not meant to do outside. Like, I remember one time we went out for food, and I was with my nan as well, and she started vaping in Burger King, and there was literally a baby and the family right next to us, and it pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I still have problems. I still have to work on myself. I still get irritated quickly. I still have low patience and low tolerance for certain things. So it's like, when she does things like that, it's like I find myself like about to. It's like I feel myself like about to go in. Do you know what I mean? But I can't, and I don't want to. But then it's like, who else is gonna if it's not me? Because my nan won't. My nan's not confrontational at all. So it's like, I find myself in this situation with my mum where it's like, I feel like I am her mum as well. And I'm not, that makes me feel overwhelmed. You know what I mean? I don't want to have the pressure of looking after someone who's supposed to have looked after me. And like I said, I'm not judging her, because what happened to her in her life growing up wasn't fair. She was groomed by my sperm donor. She got into drugs. She developed schizophrenia. She went to jail. Then she got moved from the jail and went to hospital. I don't blame her for that. That's his fault. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that I have to now, because I'm grown, have to like mother her. I'm just not comfortable doing that. And I feel guilty, because it's like, people say like, that's, you know, your mum, go make effort, go see her and stuff. It's like, I don't know where to start, if I'm honest with you. Like, I really don't. I don't know where to start. I can be quite blunt and it come across rude sometimes. And sometimes and when I get like that, sometimes I can close off myself, shut down, not want to talk, and that can become very hostile. You know, there's been, you know, I've had a couple arguments with my mum where I've got pissed off and like lost my temper, and I can't really explain why. I do think that I have to go to therapy again, possibly do family therapy with her, or just do therapy on my own to kind of dive into my childhood to see like what I can do. Because right now I'm just in a place where it's like, I just want to I'm trying to focus on my life, and it's like, I get so easily distracted by everything and everyone. I work best alone, and she doesn't understand, and it's hard to explain because she doesn't get it. I tried to tell her about my PTSD. She didn't have a clue what I was talking about. She couldn't help me. I can't speak to her, connect to her on an emotional level, which is something that I really crave with people, is to connect emotionally. And because she can't connect emotionally with me, I don't feel like there's a relationship. I want a relationship, but it's hard. So it does upset me. It does make me feel sad, because I do wish I had like a, you know, just a relationship with my mum, I just wish I had parents. Like, do you know what I mean? I do wish I had a normal upbringing. But at the same time, I'm glad I didn't have an upbringing with them. Because if I had an upbringing with them the way they were back then, I don't know where the fuck I would be. Like, that's why I gotta give thanks and all the love to my nan. Like, she literally sacrificed her life for me and my... Ooh, let me not get upset. My nan literally sacrificed her life for me and my brother. And it just makes me feel... I feel guilty about so many things that have happened. But thank God we've got a really good relationship now. And she knows that I love her, and I've made up for my past mistakes, and she knows who I am. Do you know what I mean? So I've moved on from those days, but yeah. I also think that, well, I know that growing up without parents has 100,000% fucked with my love life, and trusting people in general as well. I feel like if I had proper guidance with my sperm donor on the signs to look out for when it comes to shitty men, if I had a mother to teach me how to love a man the right way, then I think maybe some choices that I would have made in life wouldn't have happened. So yeah, that upsets me a bit, because it's like, I don't want my child to ever experience or feel the feelings that I felt throughout my life, partly because I've not had a mother or father figure. I've had to literally deal with life by myself. Like, my nan tried her best, but there's just some things that you can't teach a nan to be a mum or a fucking dad. She's just gonna be a nan, do you know what I mean? She played all the roles well, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't think like a man, you know. She also had a very toxic, terrible upbringing. So it's just like, it was recipe for disaster when it came to me finding or looking for boyfriends and stuff. I just kept myself to myself. I didn't go and find, I was scared of love. I was scared of all of that shit, man. Yeah, I think that has also been an impact of not having parents. That's quite a big thing, actually, I feel like, because if I didn't get into certain situations with guys, I think maybe, I don't know, things might be different, you know, but can't change the past now, you know. So, and I don't want to hold these emotions in, because it's just not good for you. I want to let it out. I want to let out all the like stressful, negative things inside me, because it's not good for me. Because I think I didn't really realise that even though I had a good childhood with my nan, I had a fucked up childhood in the sense that I didn't have a mum and dad, and that's kind of traumatic in itself. So I need to come to terms with that, because I feel like sometimes I am angry at the fact that my parents are my parents, if that makes sense. Obviously, like I said, I love my mum a lot, and I love my nan as well. It's like, I just don't know, it's like a what if moment, you know. It's like, or at least if they had the help they needed, you know. I just feel like, yeah, my mum was very young when she had me and my brother. Very young, she was a child. So couldn't expect her to raise us properly. But I feel like it's definitely impacted my life, and I didn't realise until doing this video now that it probably is part of the reason why I was an angry child. Like a subconscious thing, you know. I'll only know through therapy though, won't I? So